There's a federal agency that needs more employees. The job postings are out there. Nobody is applying. Nobody wants the job. And this is in the Postal Service. There are over 500,000 people that work for the Postal Service. Last year, they added 200,000 employees, and they fixed a lot of what was wrong in their hiring process. But there are hundreds of thousands of jobs online out there that nobody's applying for. And if you contrast this with the typical federal agency on USAJobs.gov, most people complain because when they apply, there's hundreds, if not thousands of people competing. And they can't get referred, they can't get interviewed, and they're upset about that. But you look over here at the postal office, and we're having the opposite problem. We can't even get one warm body to apply to one job announcement. Now, keep in mind, the Postal Service is not on USAJobs.gov. They have their own website. It's USPS.com. This can throw a lot of people off. Why is it a .com instead of a .gov? It's a federal agency, right? Well, it's an independent federal agency, and it operates more like a public commercial business. And it has much of the same benefits as other federal agencies. So you can work at the Postal Service for 5 or 6 years, and then work at the Department of Agriculture or the Department of Justice for 5 or 6 years. All that time would be added together. It would all count towards your service computation date. But one of the main differences is one word, and that word is pre-career. If the job is pre-career in the Postal Service, then you're not getting the benefits. You're not getting the same benefits. And this applies to jobs such as a rural carrier associate, a city carrier associate, postal service support, and mail handler assistant. Most new field employees, they start off as pre-career employees. Then later, if they're lucky, they transition and they become career employees. The bad part of pre-career employees, the salary is low. The hourly rate is low. It's about $19 on average. We both know that's low, but it gets worse because these individuals, they do not receive locality pay, meaning that if they're in a high-cost area like California, New York City, Washington, D.C., there's not any locality pay to help match their salary to a livable salary so they can actually afford rent, utilities, and food. So how many pre-career service employees are there? There's about 100,000 of them. So that's about 20% of the Postal Service is made up of pre-career employees. So between 2021 and 2023, the Postal Service posted 700,000 pre-career jobs nationwide. More than half of those did not receive one application. So exactly 387,000 job postings did not have any applicants apply at all. The number one job that people refused to apply to was the rural carrier associate. Why is this? Is it because of the low pay? Maybe people don't want to be outside delivering mail. Well, the OIG report stated that it's because of the national unemployment rate. It's a lot lower. A rising cost of living, and higher wages from other employers. This makes a lot of sense. You're not going to have hundreds of people waiting in line to get a job that's paying $19 an hour. Could be a good move for the right person. A younger person who wants to build up some experience, use that, pivot, try to get into a more conventional federal agency. You can get on USAJobs.gov with some experience in the Postal Service, and you can apply for some jobs open to the public, and in some cases, you can apply to the competitive service jobs. The OMB website mentions that Postal Career Service employees can be appointed or transferred to the executive branch, even in the competitive service. The executive branch, this includes 15 federal agencies, larger ones like the DoD, the VA, USDA, DOJ, they're all included. And when you're comparing the time to hire, for a typical federal government job on USAJobs.gov, you're looking at 4 to 6 months. The U.S. Postal Service, they get it done a lot quicker with an average time of about 32 days. This is a huge improvement over the past few years. It has decreased from 49 days to 32 days. That's 35% faster. And this is how the timeline looks when the job is posted on USPS.com to when HR is actually onboarding the employee into the agency. But the clear problem when it comes to the USPS, it's not a hiring process problem, it's a pay problem. We have to start paying locality pay to a lot of these positions, even if they're pre-career. They need locality pay because the cost of living across the country drastically changes. Are you living in Wisconsin, California, or maybe like me when I was a young boy, I lived in Louisiana and Mississippi. Go to Mississippi even right now. Step into a Piggly Wiggly if you know what that is. It's a grocery store. there are going to be much lower prices. You can afford to live in Mississippi with a lot less money in your pocket than if you're somewhere like Colorado or Oregon. So the federal government, they get this. When it comes to the conventional federal agencies, that's the reason we have over 50 pay charts for the GS pay band. And the fact that the Postal Service refuses to do this is their main problem. The number one location that people didn't apply was in the state of Wisconsin. There were 12,000 postings without one person applying. And even when they did apply and they took the exam and they were supposed to show up on their first day, 18% of them refused to show up on the first day of work. Can you imagine hiring 100 people and then 18 people say, you know what, I'm not going to show up to the first day? Something is clearly wrong. All right, so the next issue is visibility. Do you know about the opportunities in the Postal Service? You probably don't unless you have friends and family that work at the post office. You probably have no idea because this information isn't being shared. Now, look at post offices across the country. There's over 30,000 post offices. Regardless of where you live, you're probably within 30 miles of a post office, if not multiple post offices. So with the need of postal workers, why are we not seeing national virtual hiring events? The Postal Service usually does not do this. Instead, what they do is they do location-specific hiring events and they're in person. But you can reach so many more people if you move that format to virtual. A lot of agencies have been doing this, and they have been doing this successfully. And if you're interested in attending some of these virtual hiring events, sign up to my free newsletter down below. Okay, let's say you're looking for a U.S. Postal Service job. So you get on USPS.com and you look around, you're not going to be able to find the job site easily. It's not going to be in your face. In fact, you're going to have to scroll all the way down, and in the bottom left-hand corner, in the smallest font available, you will see careers. You need to click on that, and then click on apply, and then you can filter the jobs by location and functional area. In the end of the OIG report, it mentions how the Postal Service has plans to move their agency forward. They're going to raise brand awareness. They're going to further improve their hiring process. They're even going to make it easier for people to apply to jobs using their phone. They're going to change how the graphic user interface looks on mobile applications, so you're going to be able to do that. But it's still going to find issues unless it addresses the pay problem. We need to bump that pay up at least to an average of around $25 an hour in order to entice and attract the right people and then to retain them. If you are interested in working in the Postal Service, it's not all pre-career jobs. 80% of them, they're career. And just like any other agency, they need administrative specialists. They need IT specialists, budget people. So if you're interested in USPS, go ahead and get on the website, create an account, and start applying to those opportunities. If you have more questions about the federal hiring process, specifically as it pertains to USAJobs.gov, different federal government jobs, or job series, if you're interested in that, I did a live stream recently. I answered over a dozen questions. A lot of these questions, they could be on your mind. If you're interested in that, then I want you to watch this video next. If you would like to see more videos like this, please click like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.